Okay, today we're going to finish parallel and perpendicular lines. Yesterday we just talked about essentially how to find the slope, right? Either by ordered pairs or writing an equation in slope-intercept form. We know how to identify slope if it's in slope-intercept form, correct? Where is slope located when it's in slope-intercept form? In front of x, right? And then we know from there how to identify parallel or perpendicular. What do you know about parallel slopes?
They don't touch.
Okay, but specifically, they're the same, right? What do we know about perpendicular slopes? Opposite reciprocal. You flip the sign, flip the fraction. Yes? So today, what we're going to look at is how to write an equation of a line that is parallel or perpendicular. Now, we've done this before of just writing an equation in slope-intercept form, given the slope, given a point. So we're doing the same thing. You just either have to decide, am I using the same slope or am I using opposite reciprocal slope? Okay? So on number one, we're going to start at number one. It says, write an equation of a line parallel to y equals negative 5 force x minus 1. So the first thing I need to do is identify the slope. What slope am I using here? Negative 5 over 4. Then I would need, the other thing I have to write an equation is a y-intercept. Well, do they already give me the y-intercept here? Yes. So what's my b value? So do I have the two things I need to write my equation? Yes. What would my equation be?
Y equals negative 5 over 4x plus k.
Now, are they all going to be this easy? No.
I wish.
Definitely not. Yes.
Why is that the y-intercept if there's negative 1?
Negative 1 is the y-intercept of the original equation. It's asking us to write an equation that's parallel to that. Okay? So, good question. These two things, right? This equation that they gave us and the one we wrote are our two equations that are parallel to each other, right? Because they have to have the same slope, but the y-intercepts must be different in order for them to not be the same line.
Okay.
Make sense? So, truthfully, you guys, on all of these problems, they're going to give you, well, on most of them, they're going to give you an equation. Whatever the y-intercept is originally, we're not using that at all, okay? So we don't really need anything with that. All right, let's look at our next one. The next one says, write an equation of the line passing through the point, negative 1, 5, that's parallel to y equals 4x plus 35. So again, I just need to identify the slope. What is the slope here? 4. And if I want parallel, am I keeping that the same or opposite reciprocal? Keeping it the same. So y is equal to, m is equal to 4. Okay, m is my slope. Then we have to find the y-intercept. How can I find the y-intercept if it doesn't give it to me?
5 equals 4 times negative 1 plus b.
So using y equals mx plus b and plugging in what I have, right? So Austin, what did you tell me to plug in for 5 or for y?
I'm gonna go with 5.
Thanks. Okay, so what do I plug in for m? 4. Symphony, what about for x? Negative 1. Then I can solve for my b value. What's 4 times negative 1?
Negative 4.
So I get 5 equals negative 4 plus b. How am I going to get b by itself?
4.
Add 4 to both sides.
9 equals c.
Now I have the two things I need to write my equation. So what is my equation in slope-intercept form? Good. Okay. All right. Anybody want to try example 3? Turner.
You gotta add 2x.
Okay. Because it's not in slope-intercept form, so we do need to do that first. What am I left with after I add 2x?
Negative y equals 2x plus 2.
Okay. Is that it?
No. You have to divide by 1.
Divide by negative 1, right? Which all that does is change my signs. So I get negative 2x minus 2. Okay? So that is my first step. Then I kind of have to read and see what is it asking me for. It wants me to write an equation that is what? Perpendicular. So what slope am I going to want to use?
Positive 1/2.
Positive 1/2. Okay? I would write that over to the side. That I'm going to use positive 1/2. How can I find my value for B?
Whoa.
Plug what in?
2, 1, 1/2, and 2 and 3.
Good. So use the ordered pair that it gives you and the slope that we just found. So 3 is my y value equal to slope, which is 1/2, times x is 2. Okay, what's half of 2? So I get 3 is equal to 1 plus b. So b is equal to 2. Now I have the two things to write my equation. Okay. Jordy, do you know what my final equation would be?
Y equals 1/2 x plus 2.
Good. Y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Okay. All right. We ready for the last one? Okay. The last one says, write an equation of the line passing through negative 8, 12, and is perpendicular to a line that contains these points. So, what would be the first thing I need to do with those last 2 points?
We need to do,
Find slope with them.
Yeah, find the slope, okay? How do I find slope with those 2 points?
would it be 2 minus 2 and then negative 7 minus 3?
Okay, what's 2 minus 2? Negative 7 minus 3? Negative 10. Okay, so what's my slope here? Joss? 0, right? What type of line has a slope of 0? Horizontal. Remember we use HOY, H-O-Y? So, horizontal line Now, what type of line would be perpendicular to a horizontal line? Vertical. Okay, so let's just make a note of that. Because this one's a little different. So, the perpendicular line would be vertical, and it goes through what point?
0?
It gave it to you. What point did they give you that it wants it to pass through? Negative 8, 12. Okay? Now, remember, when we write a vertical, okay, vertical line, undefined, we use what variable? X. So our equation should be x equal to what number? How do you know that? Yeah, negative 8 from your ordered pair, so it has to be x equal to negative 8. Good. Now, listen, any other time, you guys, if we got like our slope was positive 2, wouldn't you solve it exactly like we did the problem before? Yes, okay? But when you get a slope of 0 or an undefined slope, this is how we're going to solve, okay? You think about, is it horizontal or vertical? Use those little acronyms to help you, and then just take the value from the ordered pair, okay? All right, today we're just going to practice some of these together, well, like maybe